What's up, everybody, and thank you for listening to Mastering the Mindset. My name is Dariusdotch, and I'm an actor, hip-hop artist, and fitness and life coach. And I'm here to personally help you train and improve your mindset so that you can, 1, become the best version of yourself mentally, and 2, gain focus and motivation to be able to take action and achieve the success in life that you want and deserve. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to my channel, and at the end of this episode, if you liked it, please share it with a friend or a loved one or someone who would benefit from hearing this message. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm ready to go on this journey with you, and that journey begins now. All right, y'all, and welcome back to another episode. So today we are going to talk about how to harness the power of your momentum in your life. And I personally think momentum is one of the most underrated things that doesn't get talked about, because a lot of people's success is a result of them using that momentum, harnessing it and riding it to get them further than where they were before. It's also a big piece of life that's really important. And how often does something like this happen? Somebody gets excited about something, about starting a new business or working out or a new project, and there's all this excitement and energy towards starting this new thing in the beginning. They make all these plans, they have all these ideas they want to execute, and they start doing it. And what happens? They don't get the results they want right away, and they start to fall off because of it. Then that doubt creeps in. Like, maybe it's a sign that it's not for me, or maybe this ain't the path I should be on. This doesn't seem to be working for me. And what happens is they give up before they get the momentum on their side. They quit before they get the momentum they need that shows them that they are on the right path. And the analogy I like to use, which I've used before, is the broke down car analogy. Now, I have had some bad cars in my life in the past, or at least cars with bad engines. And I used to have this old purple Dodge Neon. I bought this thing for $600. So you can imagine what the engine was worth, right? Not to mention the AC didn't work. Let's just say I had to push this car a few times. And if you ever had to push a car before, then you know the hardest part is pushing it from being completely stopped and having no movement at all to getting it moving just a little bit. That is the hardest part. When you're pushing it and you're like, man, I'm not sure if I'm strong enough. And then you push and push and push, and it start moving just a little bit. And starting a business and starting a workout plan or a project is like pushing a car. Starting from no movement and pushing and hoping to get that momentum. And a lot of people quit before the car starts moving because they haven't gotten it yet. And they push and they push, and then they just give up. But you know that when you are pushing that car, once the wheels start moving and you keep pushing, when it starts going, it gets much easier. And it takes a while for it to get moving. But once it gets moving, it gets way easier to keep it moving, right? Because from 0 to 1 miles per hour is hard. Then from 1 to 2 miles per hour is a little easier. And from 2 to 3 is even easier to do, and so on and so on. And once the car is moving and you get it going, what would be really stupid is if you stop pushing and let it come to a complete stop. Just to try and start pushing it all over again. That would be stupid, right? But this is how a lot of people's success happens. They see a whole lot of struggle in the beginning. They're figuring things out, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, and they're pushing and pushing and pushing and struggling, and it doesn't feel like it's moving. And when it finally does get moving, it's barely moving. And it's that moment right there where they didn't give up, because eventually that momentum got going for them. It took time, right? Now, I can say I've experienced this with this podcast you're listening to right now. When I started doing this, this was only for my workout clients. But when I first started offering it to the public, it was really a struggle to get it out there. Trying to learn how to get it streaming on all podcast platforms, all the extra work of editing and writing up synopses. I'm not sure how to say that. writing up a synopsis for every episode for it to be online and to look professional, the amount of time it took to learn, and I'm still learning what works as far as marketing it. But over time, it got easier. I figured it out, and each week I get more and more listeners. But in the beginning, it was hard. I would do all this work and only have literally a couple people listen. But I knew I was in that period where I just had to keep pushing because my momentum wasn't there yet. And so the next time you start something new, something you've never done before, or maybe you're trying it again, just know it's like pushing a car. It's going to take time to get that thing moving. And once you get it moving, it's even more important to not stop. We cannot start to get that momentum on our side and self-sabotage ourselves because the car and the momentum, it will stop. I'll use working out for an example. If you're a person who wants to get back into the gym, or maybe you're somebody who's never been a gym person and you decided to make a change. Well, the first few weeks, that first month, it's going to be hard as hell. It's going to feel like you are pushing a damn car. You're going to struggle and struggle and struggle, and you're going to feel like you're getting nowhere. And what happens is after about a month, it starts to feel a little more normal. It's not as hard to get yourself to the gym. It's not as hard to eat healthier. Your taste buds start to get used to eating healthy stuff, and it starts to even taste a little bit better, and you start to have a little bit of momentum on your side. Things are starting to move. The worst thing you can do is to self-sabotage and stop. You have to become aware of when your momentum is happening. We self-sabotage by thinking we're not making any progress, or by feeling like it's taking too long, when instead you should be looking at where you came from. What's up, what's up, what's up? I want to take a quick moment to say thank you so much for listening to this episode, and to also let you know that this podcast is 100% donation driven, which means it's completely funded by you, the listener. So if you like the content I have to offer, I would love it if you can make a donation and you get to pick the amount. I left links in the description of the video as well as my homepage. You can choose which way benefits you the best to donate. And if you need more options, please feel free to email me at dariusdotch@gmail.com. That's dariusdotch@gmail.com. Again, thank you so much for being here, and let's get back to it. The car is moving. You're not in the same place you used to be, even if you only traveled a little bit. But if you stop pushing, you are guaranteed to never get there. Keep pushing, and it will happen. After a year or so, it's going to feel unnatural to not go to the gym, right? Your body will actually start to crave going to the gym. Your body will start to crave that healthy food because those things fuel you now. And that is that momentum carrying you on now. You're still pushing, but the momentum is working with you now. And that is where you need to get to with all of your goals and the things that you're working on. Because this analogy really applies to just about everything. Like if you wanted to start waking up earlier in the morning, waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning is hard, especially that first time you try it. You wake up like, oh, hell no. This ain't fun. This ain't for me, right? You get to the end of the day and you tired as hell. Your body has to get adjusted. It takes time to get used to that early morning routine. But you do it over and over again, and your body starts to adapt and you adjust. Your body starts to shut off earlier in the night. Instead of finally falling asleep at midnight, you start getting sleepy at 11 and then 10:30 and earlier and earlier. And now you have that momentum on your side. And then what happens? You do this for a while and you start to wake up before your alarm even goes off. You wake up and are borderline pissed off because you still got 10 minutes before your alarm goes off, right? We hate that, right? We all been there, done that. But that's because your body has adjusted to that time. And let's say you're trying to start a business. It's really the same thing. In those beginning stages of starting that business, all the successful business owners and entrepreneurs say the same thing, that it's hard. It's figuring things out. A lot of pushing. There's a lot of stuff that won't work, and you're finding out what those things are, and you'll feel like you're on the wrong path, like you should be doing something different. Maybe it's the wrong market. Maybe you don't have enough passion. And they all say these are the moments that are really important because you're building that threshold. You're learning what works and what doesn't work. And eventually it gets easier. Eventually it clicks. Now, nothing new is easy at the beginning. We all know that. Nothing that you start for the first time is going to be easy, right? But we need a reminder sometimes. The important thing to remember is the destination. And so if you ever have those moments in life where you feel like you're being stagnant, right? Nothing is changing. You feel stuck. You're not sure what to do next. One, you got to start pushing. You got to start right now. That car ain't going nowhere if you don't push. Two, it's going to take some effort. It's going to take some dedication. It's going to take the mindset of understanding that it's going to take a whole lot of work to get yourself out of that stagnation. And three, you have to realize when you do have that momentum and figure out how you're not going to stop this time, how you can just keep going. And I've said this before, but action creates more action. Inaction creates more inaction. I'm going to say it again. Action creates more action. Inaction creates more inaction. And one last thing. As you get this momentum, do not get a case of what another coach I follow is called the I deserve it. What's that? Let's say you've been putting in the work. Let's say it's that business you started and you're getting more and more sales. And there's this little voice inside you that says something like, I know I should finish sending these emails, but I've been working hard. I deserve the rest of the night off. Or I deserve to splurge on myself today because I made some extra cash. I deserve it. Or if you've been hitting the gym consistently and you lost 10 pounds, that little voice might say, I've been busting my ass. I have a donut. I deserve it. Or I don't feel like going to the gym today. I already lost 10 pounds. I'll go tomorrow. I deserve this day off. And you keep having those moments. And what happens? You gain that weight right back. And the examples of this goes on and on and on. They go on and on and on. And after a while, all these mini self-sabotaging moments pile up. They add up. And that could be with weight loss or sales, anything, right? You have a big week at work. Then the next week, you feel like you deserve to bring it down a notch, right? Because you deserve it. My point is, we have to be aware of the I deserve it, because what it is the power of momentum being slowed down by your self-sabotage. So please be aware of this. So think about this. Think about something that you set out to do and you never actually did it. Something that might have been years ago. Something you started out, but you eventually gave up on it and never finished. And we all have these things, right? But I want you to bring that thing to the front of your head. And I want you to imagine what your life would look like if you never gave up on it. How your life would look, how you would feel, who you would be, how others would see you if you never gave up on that thing. Think about that. How your life would be different in this moment right now had you never given up on it. Just think about it for a second. Now, let's think about this present moment right now. What if this thing that you wanted to do back then, what if you just decided that you're never going to give up on it? You're going to start it and you won't quit. That you are not going to get the case of the I deserve it, and you're not going to stop until you get to your destination. That is the mindset that you have to have. The mindset is what's going to help you harness that power of momentum. And I guarantee you'll look back years from now and your life will be completely different than the current path you're on right now. But you have to make that decision. You have to make the choice. And I believe in you. You got this. Let's get it in. So that's what I got for you today. If you like this episode, please share it with somebody that can benefit from this, somebody who is a friend or a family member, somebody who has goals and is trying to improve their lives. So thank you again, and let's get it in.